there's no doubt we're after a win. I mean, we want to make sure that we give a more competitive performance to start off with. I mean, we were really disappointed with our performance, obviously, on the weekend, and some of the statistical areas in our game at the moment aren't up to scratch, and we need to make sure that this week we get back to putting the overalls on and getting back to work. And ultimately, that's what AFL football's about: is working harder and longer than your opponent, and we haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis. And we need to make sure that we work harder for longer. Yeah, well, I mean, all of the areas that we really pride ourselves on, that we've been good in the past, it's whether it's contested football, we're getting scored too easily against at times. It's around our clearance rate, it's about our work rate to get ground balls inside our forward 50, it's about our tackles inside forward 50, all of those things that we really do well normally, we haven't been able to do on a consistent basis. And those are the areas that is about work rate and preparedness to do it for a long time, and those are the areas that we spoke about on Monday after when reviewing the game. Oh, there's players that haven't had a good start to the season, and when you get a number of players in that same boat, it does make it a bit harder. We thought that after the Adelaide game we were starting to get back to more players in a bit more form, but we weren't able to do it on a consistent basis the next week, and both individually and as a team. And that's the challenge that AFL football presents, whether you as an individual or as a team, is to make sure that you would do it week in, week out, which we weren't able to do on the weekend. We've been challenged before. We've lost 3 games out of 4 going into a final series, and we're able to get back and lift ourselves up and get going again. This is a different scenario because it's at the start of the season, and we understand that, and we need to, but the same challenges present themselves as far as getting yourselves up and into a position where you're both in good form as an individual, and then that leads to the collective better form of the group, and that's our challenge, and that's what awaits us. Yes, he trained again yesterday, and he won't train today, but he trained yesterday and trained really well and has pulled up well. So we expect him to play this week. The discussion will be whether it be reserves or seniors. I don't want to come under criticism for playing in the seniors because he might be a bit too tall. Look, he has got a record of coming off very good. Very limited pre-seasons, I guess. Last year was a great example. He didn't play for half the season, was able to come in and make an impact straight away. We do sit down with in conjunction with our medical staff and our conditioning staff and work through that, and we'll do that again this week and make those decisions based upon the good of the team, but also what's good for Kurt. And we're acutely aware of that. I mean, we can't let the decisions or where we sit as far as our win-loss influence those decisions. Those decisions are always going to be made upon what's best for Kurt and then how that can actually help the team and help the team this week, but also help the team for the rest of the season. I mean, they're a good quality team that make you work hard both ways, and we saw they were very disappointed in their own performance the week before against Hawthorn, and they were able to bounce back really strongly and aggressively, and that's our challenge. That's a good example that Fremantle were able to show how to bounce back and how to show some resilience after the previous week's performance that they wouldn't have been happy with, and they came back and were really strong, obviously, last week against Essendon. So, that's something that we look to as an example, and a challenge ahead of us is to make sure we bounce back with some sort of determination and to work hard for the full 4 quarters.